everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be doing a fill-in, but the only difference is that, as you can see, we are doing a side view. So I started off from this side, but I am going to switch it over to the other side because it was a little hard to see with my hand being in the way. But it's not going to be a very clear view the entire time because it's just not as easy, you know, to be able to show everything at this angle. But I basically want you guys to see, you know, what the nail looks like from the side throughout the whole process. So right now I'm just removing the gel polish, and for that I'm using a coarse drill bit. And after that, we're going to go in and, of course, push the cuticles back, remove the shine from the natural nail. So all of the steps are going to be, you know, exactly the same, but we're just watching it from a different view. And then also another thing is that I'm going to be, you know, of course, doing the fast forward and then real speed as well, because we don't want to be sitting here watching the video all day. Alrighty, so once we finish removing all of the gel polish, we're going to go in and push back the cuticles, and then I'm going ahead and just switching out the sanding band for a new one. So I'm just using this little, I don't even want to say the name because y'all are going to make fun of me, but because I can't say it, but it's like a little cuticle pusher stone that you can get at Sally's. And again, we're just pushing back those cuticles, and after that we're going to be removing the shine from the natural nail. Remember, when we're removing the shine from the natural nail, we're only filing to remove the shine. We're not filing to thin the nail out or anything. So we're using a 180 sanding band, and this is my real speed. So as you see, I go pretty slow around the cuticle area, just going from the right side over to the left side, just making sure that we remove the shine from the whole nail. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to go ahead and dust the nails off. And after this, we're going to go in and just apply the primer. I'm going to go ahead and get my dust collector out of the way. And I'm also going to get my products out. So I'm still using my monomer warmer because the weather out here in Arkansas is still kind of changing. It's in the process of getting a little bit warmer, but it's still pretty cold outside sometimes. So I'm just keeping my monomer warmer until it starts getting warmer outside. But anyways, I'm applying the primer. Remember, we're only applying this on the natural nail. Be sure not to get it on the skin. After that, we're going to go ahead and start the acrylic application. As always, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. As you see, I placed that first bead closer to the cuticle area and brushing it down towards the tip, making sure that we push it up towards the nail and if it starts running over to the sides. And then also cleaning around that cuticle area, making sure that we get any of that product off the skin. Also, during the acrylic application, you will be able to see everything on this side view. And what I mean by that is, you know, whenever I'm doing like a regular set or how I usually record, I tell you how to look at the nail from different angles. Well, as you can see, like this nail is still pretty thin on the tip. So that's why I'm going in and adding a little bit more acrylic. But looking at the nail from this side, like you're able to tell, you know, where you need to add more acrylic. Of course, from just looking at it from right here, we can still tell that we need to add more acrylic on the tip. And that's why I say you have to look at the nail from different angles, because if I was just looking at it from the top, you know, it would look fine. You know, you wouldn't be able to see nothing wrong with it. The acrylic is nice and smooth. But once you look at it from that side, that's when you're going to tell, okay, my tip is too thin. Let me add a little bit more. Or, you know, my apex is still kind of thin. So let me add a little bit more product there. So that's why I say that it's so important to always look at your nail from different angles. And this is my real speed. So as you can see, I work, you know, not too fast, not too slow. Usually when I'm doing nails, I always book all of my clients for 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's if they're getting a full set or feel. And then sometimes I have people get their toes polished. So that's all in between that time. And then of course I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up. But again, same thing, just placing your bead closer to the cuticle area. Pat it down, and when you pat it down, that's like me just making sure that I spread the acrylic all over the nail. That way, you know, we don't have any gaps on the side of the nail, just making sure that we get a full coverage. And then of course there's brushing the rest of the acrylic down towards the tip and then adding more acrylic where you need it. And then also while I'm doing this, you will see me turning my client's finger over to the sides, and that's when I'm checking to see, you know, where I need to add more acrylic. And like you see this one, like you can't really tell, and I'm sorry, but you see like the apex, you know, it's pretty nice, but you can still tell that that tip is super thin. So I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more acrylic to the tip to make sure that, you know, we have that nice thickness at the tip. You don't want the tip to be, you know, super thick. You always want your apex to be a little bit thicker, but then you will be able to tell when your tip is still thin. So that's when I'm going in and just adding more product at the tip. And then again, so the rest is really going to be the same thing. But sometimes, you know, some nails you might have to come back and add a little bit more. Others you might not. It just depends on what size bead you get, you know, to begin with. But most importantly, make sure that you always go back and clean around the cuticle area to get any of the acrylic from around the cuticle, because if not, you will get lifting. And then I think I forgot to mention, but I'm sure you guys know, the brush that I'm using is my Alpha brush in a number 10. And I'll be sure to leave the link in the description to that. Alrighty, so I am on the other hand, and it's going to be the same process over and over again, and I probably already said that, but again, it's just a matter of practicing and, you know, just getting your right consistency as far as like grabbing the right liquid powder ratio to make sure that your beads are not too dry or too wet, I guess, because then they're going to run all over the skin. So do make sure that before you start actually practicing on people or even on your mannequin, that you practice your bead method or your liquid to powder ratio, I guess I could say. You know, Tammy Taylor had those practice sheets where you can practice the acrylic application on there, and those actually help a lot because, you know, you get used to knowing, you know, how far off to wipe your brush off when you dip it in a liquid and how much powder you need for a big bead. So I probably just confused you guys, but again, that is a practice sheet by Tammy Taylor that helps you with your you know, being consistent with your beads. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and finish off the acrylic application, and then I'll be back. Alrighty, so I'm finished with the acrylic application. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my products up. Going to bring my dust collector back in. And I'm just going to be reshaping the nails. And I'm going to be showing you how, as you can see, I'm filing like at a 45-degree angle on the sides, going from the free edge, or sorry, from the side wall to the free edge. Just making sure that we file again 45-degree angle on the sides and 90-degree angle at the free edge to make sure that we have that perfect coffin shape. And again, this is my real speed, so as you can see, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm not just filing just to file. I actually file quite a few times on the sides, and I'm watching my shape change as I'm doing this. So after we finish shaping the nails, we're going to go in with the e-file, and I'm using my fine drill bit, and we're just going to be filing all of the nails. And here you'll be able to tell, you know, how I'm holding my e-file. As you can see, I'm holding it at an angle when I'm filing around the cuticle area, and then I just file the rest of the nail with the belly of my drill bit. And it's going to be the same thing for all of them. Remember, always start on the right side, going over to the left side, just going back and forth until you're able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way you know that you would not get any lifting and that the acrylic is not on the skin. And then also just make sure you go back and file the rest of the nail to make sure that it's nice and smooth. And then sometimes you're going to have to file like underneath the nail or on the sides if you still have those little rough edges that you weren't able to get off with the hand file. Also, just a little reminder that when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on your client's finger with the drill, because that's when you will get those ring of fires. So make sure that you're holding their client with your left hand, and then as you can see, I still have my pinky on their finger as well, like the pinky on my right hand. I still hold their finger with my pinky to make sure that I get that stability. That way my file is not just all over the place. So again, make sure that you're careful when you're filing, not to put too much pressure, because if not, you will give them the ring of fires, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Once you do it, you just have to let their nail grow out. Alrighty, so once we're done filing, we're going to go in with the buffer, and we're just going to make sure that all of the nails are nice and smooth. As you can see, I always feel on the nail with my thumb to check and make sure that they're nice and smooth. If not, I go back in and buff a little bit more. Also, just a little tip, just remember that if you do not do this, you will be able to see those scratches that are left on the nail from the e-file or the hand file once you apply the polish. So make sure that you are buffing those nails really good, because this is going to make sure that those nails are flawlessly smooth, if that's a word. But after that, we're just going to go ahead and dust the nails off, wipe them off, or you can have your client go wash their hands, whatever works for you best. Alrighty, so I'm just wiping the nails off, and then we're going to show you how they look like after the whole process. As you can see, they look really good. We have a nice apex, nice length, nice shape, and everything turned out really cute. So this is the final look. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at GetNailed32, and I'll see you guys next time.